Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Kelly Steckleberg. She's the Chief Financial Officer of Nasdaq-listed Zoom, also a Nasdaq 100 constituent. Kelly, welcome to Trade Talks. We're delighted to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jill. Great to be here.
All right, and Zoom has become an actual noun and a verb. For example, let's set up a Zoom, let's Zoom over the weekend. My show is dependent on Zoom. It's kept my coworkers, family, and friends together. Essentially, Zoom has connected the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Kelly, how did that happen?
Thanks. We're really happy that we've had this opportunity to minimize disruption and improve connection during this period of time when it's difficult for us to actually meet in person. And I think the reason that's happened is because at Zoom, everything we do is focused on delivering happiness to our customers and our employees. And that starts with our product. So the ease of use and the reliability have been paramount during this period of time. I've heard anecdotal stories of, children 6 years old using Zoom for school, knowing how to mute, reading books with their grandparents, all the way up to 80-year-olds joining in family birthday parties. And I think it's the intuitive nature of our product, which has allowed that to bring both individuals, families, as well as enterprises together, as companies, when they started, really needed to think about how do they keep their employees safe, but how do they also keep them productive and keep their businesses running? And video communications has been front and center as part of that strategy.
Now, Zoom's biggest spike in growth thus far came about as a result of the pandemic. How does the company feel about that?
Well, again, we feel happy that we have been able to support businesses and organizations, large and small, during this period of time. You heard probably that we saw an increase in daily participants from 10 million in December all the way up to 300 million in April. And we certainly, as the pandemic was making its way around the globe, saw our demand driving and coming from that as well. And I'm just happy that we were able to provide a service that's been valuable during this period of time.
What are some of the other longer term trends driving the need for Zoom outside of COVID-19?
Yeah, so we saw our customer base during Q1 grow over 350% if you look at customers with greater than 10 employees. So what that's done is build a really strong base of people that are now using Zoom. It's really accelerated video communications. Adding on to that for the future are other products that Zoom offers. So we have our Zoom Phone, which is our cloud PBX system, which is a really great way to further the integration of video and voice communications. We also have our conference room solution, which is Zoom Rooms. And as people start to think about potentially moving back into the workplace itself and keeping their employees safe, they're going to probably want some sort of balance there. And so the conference room is a great way they're going to be able to connect people that are moving back into the workplace and those who might still be working remotely at home.
Competitors like Microsoft and Google have also upped the ante lately. Do you see this market consolidating around maybe one or two competitors for enterprise communications?
We think that Zoom is very, very well positioned competitively, as I hark back to the usability and the reliability of our product. It really has scaled well during this period of time, and it's so easy to use that individuals can use it, as well as enterprise can rely upon us for their most critical events. And I think that's what people are going to look to, even while there start to be more and more offerings in this space. We're confident in our ability to continue to support and be a leader in this space.
Zoom is nearing the end of the 90-day period dedicated to addressing security and privacy. What are the most significant changes that have been made?
So, as you said, we are 2/3 of the way through our 90-day plan. We've taken several steps to ensure that our platform is secure and private for all of our users. So a couple of things that we have done during this period of time is we established a CISO council. This allowed the most talented CISOs from around the industry to come and give us feedback, which has been great. We have also hired Keybase, which is a team of very talented engineers. We're thrilled to have them joining the Zoom family, which has really accelerated our development and bringing additional talent in that area. And we've focused on building features and functionality that make the product not only more secure, but also more usable. These include things like the privacy shield, where a host now has control of a meeting. It's a little shield that's front and center when you are hosting a meeting that brings all of the features, things like enabling the waiting room, muting other participants, ensuring that you are the one that have control of screen sharing, to make it really easy for meeting hosts to ensure that they're able to quickly respond and keep their meetings in control.
You touched upon this before when discussing Zoom rooms and what that might look like as some of us start to trickle back into work. Do you think we will ever go back to our old normal, or do you think it'll be more of a hybrid of the old and the new?
So this has really been an accelerant for the adoption of video communications. And I think that we've all now grown accustomed to it. Even if you weren't using it before, you've grown accustomed to video communications being part of your life. And as we think about, or we see shelter in place easing around the world, I think lots of people are going to want to have this hybrid, and it's going to be required for a long period of time to ensure that we're all safe, as many people are going back, but there's still, social distancing needs in place. And video supports that, so people can go back in a hybrid approach. The other thing that we've also seen is lots of virtual events where people historically held things like users conferences, or I've been attending recently a lot of investor conferences. And we've heard from our customers that by using our webinar product, they are able to have events that are even potentially more effective than the in-person events were. So I don't think we're ever going back to a day where everybody's happy to jump on a plane and fly somewhere when they know they can be just as effective joining it via Zoom.
Now, with remote working from home, right, opening up more possibilities for many workers and those seeking work, do you think Zoom can have an impact on developing a more diverse and inclusive workforce?
I absolutely think that Zoom can support this. If you think about the fact that we have now just proven this test over the last 90 days that you can really be effective working from any place in the world. I think it depends on the teams, but it highlights that you can reach out to communities that potentially may not have had access to jobs in Silicon Valley, for example, and they can now be a talent pool that you can draw from. We're also really excited that in the last quarter we announced we're opening 2 new centers of excellence in Arizona and Pittsburgh ourselves to take advantage of a more diverse workforce.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for everything Zoom is doing for all of us.
Thank you, Jill. It's great to be here.
All right, and thanks for joining us on Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.